Did anything from Friday's announcement from the NHL, where they announced 11 players that tested positive, did anything from that at all impact how you guys feel about taking part in this, meaning the training camp and a postseason and whatnot?
I think everybody's doing the best possible job they can to put everyone in the best position to stay healthy, and that's the number one priority is health and safety of the players and everyone else involved. So, um, yeah, I would say everybody's doing the best that they can, and nothing is going to be perfect. There is no guarantee of anything. I would say 100%. So, um, yeah, I guess that's how I would answer that. Is everybody's doing the best job that they can, and we can tell that safety is definitely the number one priority.
Okay, next question comes from Wes Crosby of NHL.com. Go ahead, Wes.
Hey, Matt, thanks for doing this. As a goalie, with these informal voluntary workouts, how helpful do you think that they've been for you? And then with these and the upcoming training camp, are you comfortable with the fact that you would be pretty much back up to speed by the time that you would have that series against Montreal?
Yeah, I think we're making the best of the situation, and the skates so far have gone really, really well. I can speak for our little group. It's gone really well. The pace has been really good. The competition's been really good. So in terms of the situation, I don't think it could go much better. So yeah, this is the situation that we're in, and we're all trying to make the best of it. And I think everybody has done a great job of doing that so far.
Next question is from Dan Potash, AT&T Sportsnet. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Matt, good to see you, buddy.
You too, buddy.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on the playoff format, and now that things have been set, kind of a little bit of a tournament feel to start, and as you advance forward, it has a little bit of a different feel with the round robin and so forth. Your take on how things have been set up to play out for the playoffs, and is it much different than the normal second season that we would normally see, or mentally for you preparing for it any differently?
I think it's again it's a situation that we're in, and I don't think there was necessarily any one option that would keep everybody happy or would be the perfect option. So this is, I think, the best option on the table, and we're going to make the most of it. So in terms of preparation, I would say it's similar to a normal playoffs. It's just an extra series, and the fact that we've been off for such a long time kind of makes it feel a little bit more like a tournament maybe, and just kind of builds the excitement. So I think it's great. I think it's again the best that we can do in the situation. And me personally and our team, I know we're really looking forward to the new challenge.
Okay. The next question is from Seth Rohrbaugh from the Tribune Review. Go ahead, Seth.
Hi, Matt. I spoke with Eric Fair a few months ago. He played the season out in Switzerland, and they played in a couple empty buildings before they halted their season. But he said in those games without fans, he said it was maybe somewhat difficult to kind of get his energy going or get his legs going. That's maybe not a problem that goaltenders maybe have to deal with in terms of getting energy going or whatnot. But what type of challenges or dynamic do you think it would create for a goaltender without any sort of fans in the building creating noise and whatnot?
That's a great question. I can't say that I've been in this scenario before, so I'm not really sure how I can answer that. I just know, us as a team and as individuals, we're going to have to kind of create our own energy, obviously, without that energy from the crowd that you definitely feel. So it's a new challenge, but one that I think everyone is excited for, and it'll be really interesting, and a cool story to tell one day. But I think it's just, yeah, we got to go into it with an open mind and look at it just as an exciting challenge.
Okay, thanks. The next one is from Wes Crosby of NHL.com. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, Matt. Obviously, you and Tristan kind of went back and forth with, you would have the bulk of some starts, then he would have the bulk of a few, and then you kind of had the bulk near the end there of the regular season. With the two of you, do you think it's helpful to kind of have that internal competition going into the playoffs here? And is there any pressure to kind of be that guy that gets that first start against Montreal?
Well, I would say that, for me personally, all I can do is focus on, what I can control and trying to put my best effort forward, every practice and every game and trying to get prepared. And that's what I'm doing right now. Like we said, or like I said earlier, just making the best of the situation that we're in. And that's, I'm putting in the hours now, doing everything we can to be prepared for when the puck drops. And every individual on the ice is going to be working to help the team have success, and that includes myself. And I'm going to do everything I can to be sharp and to be at my best to help this team win another Stanley Cup.
Next question is from Will Graves of the Associated Press. Go ahead, Will.
Sorry, Matt, I forgot to unmute.
No problem.
Could you just sort of walk us through what these skates look like right now and how it sort of differentiates itself from what a normal practice would be when you've only got limited guys on the ice, and how does that affect your preparation? Because obviously when you guys get going, there's going to be 10 guys in front of you at a given time instead of a handful.
Yeah, it's different than a normal practice. Obviously, I think for goalies and for myself, it's great because you see, you see quite a few shots, and I think for the shooters, maybe there's a little bit more skating than normal, just because there's less players and you get less time to rest. But I've been really enjoying these skates so far, and I think the work that we're getting and what we're able to work on is very concentrated, which I think is great. And hopefully we can keep progressing and maybe have bigger groups soon, and obviously training camp, get the full team together. So we're just making the most of it, and I can speak for my group. I think the skates have been great, really competitive, and like I said, just concentrated what you're able to work on. So I've really enjoyed it myself.
We have another question from Seth Rohrbaugh, the Tribune Review. Go ahead, Seth.
Hi, Matt. I know you've declined any questions in the past regarding your status as a free agent, so I won't go there. But let me just ask you in a very general sense, do you have any concerns about where the NHL's economics might be as a result of the pause here and whatnot?
I don't think too much about that, honestly. Again, that's kind of out of my control. So all I'm really focused on right now is just preparing myself to be the best I can be on the ice. The rest of the stuff, I think it'll take care of itself. So I'm not really thinking too much about that.
We have another question from Wes Crosby of NHL.com. Go ahead, Wes.
Hey, Matt. Looking ahead to facing Montreal, when we spoke with Chris Letang, he basically said, you can't really look at them being a 12 seed because it's been so long since everyone's played. The playing field's kind of level for everybody. So for you, what challenges do you think that team might give you guys in that round?
Oh, they're a great team. They're fast. They're well coached. They're structured, and we know that we're in for a huge challenge. They got a lot of really good players. Like I said, that they're a dangerous team. So that's all we're trying to focus on right now, is getting ready for that series, and we know it's going to be a huge challenge. We've been watching some video, obviously, and we don't get to see them a whole lot during the season, but it's clear, how fast they are, how hard they work. They go to the net hard. They're well coached. They're just, they play the game the right way. So they're a really, really good team, and it's going to be a huge challenge for us.
We have a few more. Next one is Matt Bentel from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Go ahead, Matt. Unmute yourself.
Hey, Matt. Hope you're well. You've had a few months during this pandemic to reflect not only on your season, but maybe also hockey's place in your life. What have you taken away from this experience, and can this time off in any way help you on the ice?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me has honestly just been, staying safe and keeping my family safe through this time. It's been obviously a strange time and unprecedented for us. So that's where most of my focus has been. And honestly, it's been nice to spend more time with my wife. And I would say that for the most part, sort of distanced myself from hockey and didn't think much about it until things started ramping back up again. So now we're full speed ahead and return to play mode, and just happy to be back.
Okay, next one is Dan Potash from AT&T Sportsnet. Go ahead, Dan.
Matt, I was curious about the hub cities, and I know we're still waiting to see what the final 2 locations will be, but have you allowed yourself to think a little bit about what that will be like? And I know that during the season, we have maybe a road trip that lasts a week to 10 days, a couple times a year. So it's a chance to get closer or bond with your teammates or the boys, if you will. So knowing that you could be on a 6 to 8 week road trip, the thought that maybe you guys could get close, and bond in that unique way that you would need to make a long run?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it would be a huge bonding experience, and obviously we really don't know what it's going to look like, so I don't really speculate or think too much about that because we just don't know at this point. But we know that the people in charge and the decision makers are doing everything they can to do it the right way and to do it in a safe a safe way that keeps everybody healthy and as safe as possible. So for sure, I think no matter what, the playoffs are always a good bonding experience, and this year will be no different.
Okay, before we get to the email that were submitted, the questions that were submitted by email, we have one more from Seth Rohrabaugh. Oh, we have Will Graves too now. Sorry, Seth Rohrabaugh from the Tribune Review. Go ahead.
Hey, Matt, this is kind of a lighthearted question, but I believe today is like the 8th anniversary of you being drafted. And you were part of a really good draft class along with like Derek Pouliot, Oli Mata, Teddy Bluger, Oscar Sundquist. Just what do you remember from that day? And do you feel a connection with those guys that were part of that class as well?
Yeah, sure, a little bit. I remember it, vividly. It was here in Pittsburgh, so that was cool to be drafted by the home team. My parents were there with me, my agent, and yeah, it was just an exciting day. Obviously, it was the start of a dream, quite honestly. So I didn't realize today was the day. So thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, I have nothing but fond memories, and for sure going through it with those guys that you mentioned. I know Sonny and I were drafted kind of right next to each other, I think, in the order. So we kind of did our whole media tour together. So we were together most of the day. So I definitely remember that, and remember going through it with some of those guys.
Okay, we'll take one more from Will Graves of the Associated Press. Go ahead.
Matt, I'm just sort of curious. I mean, your job requires a pretty specific skill set. Being unable to get together to face. How did you sort of deal with the shutdown and the lockdown and not being able to kind of go out and even train normally? What did you do to sort of compensate and try to stay sharp?
Well, I spent a good portion of the lockdown at my home in Canada, where I have a full gym, so I was able to stay in good shape. I was lucky that way. And in terms of keeping the eyes on and tracking working, you just do as many tennis ball drills and stuff like that as you can. So I was lucky to have a pretty good setup to stay sharp at home. So and I worked extremely hard on it. So I feel very fortunate to have that. I know a lot of guys don't have the same kind of setup at home, and obviously we weren't allowed to use the ice or our team gym. So I just again tried to make the best of the situation and use whatever things I had at my disposal to stay sharp.
Does anything about your job or your approach to it change during the playoffs compared to the regular season?
Oh, no, I don't think so. No, I think it's just your job stays the same. It's all about stopping the puck. Okay. I think your focus narrows, and there's obviously less margin for error in the playoffs. I would say the game changes a little bit, tends to tighten up a little bit. So certain things you see on the ice might be a little bit different, but the mindset stays the same, and that's just to focus on stopping the next shot, and that's all we can do as goalies.
Okay, and the last one is, you answered the beginning part of this a little bit, but do you anticipate that you will be competing with Tristan Jarry during training camp to be the #1 goalie in the playoffs? If so, how could your playoff experience work to your benefit in that competition?
Yeah, like I said before, I can only control, what's in my control, and that's put in my best effort on the ice every time. The rest will take care of itself, and I know if I compete and work really hard, the rest will fall into place. So that's where my focus is at.